Press Reset Earth is back. just kidding.
So how's your channel been coming out? I haven't seen you post many videos lately, I don't think.
Posted Fallout 4. Fallout 4 Exposed was posted 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, no, I saw like the beginning of that. I forgot to, I was gonna finish it, but I just didn't get around to it. But I saw some of that. Dude, you're really good at making videos, dude. Like it's always well produced. Like you know what you're doing, seemingly. You know, so it's good. It's better than me, dude. I mean, when it comes to video production, I just freaking rant over news stories, you know, and you know, put the pieces.
That's your style.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your style, you know. I tried doing a video like that, and it was pretty good. It got like 2,500. It was very interesting.
Yeah, I actually saw it. Was it the one with you about the fire in Romania?
The Romanian, yeah, but it's even worse than I said in that thing. After a week, there were like 100 deaths. It's crazy.
Wow, that's
they closed all the small bars. It's kind of like and the firefighters, they said they found substances there that shouldn't be there unless it's some kind of an attack, you know, on purpose. Chemicals they found. It's not just random, they said. So it could be a false flag, but to kind of close things and not, because see the rock music and all these alternative bands, they survived through small bars, and now they killed those small bars. There's nowhere for them to sing,
right? Yeah,
so they can't exist. But I don't know, there are bigger things that I just stay out of that.
Yeah,
it surpasses my field.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So I wouldn't make, for example, a video about the shootings in United States. That's not my job. That's your job.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Yeah, we're all here for we all have our purpose, you know. It's and it's great to see. That's why, you know, you have certain people who focus on you know, the symbolism in movies. Other people focus on the symbolism in you know, the music industry and stuff like that. You know, Red Pill actually, well, formerly Red Pill, he sort of
through Media Revolution.
Yeah, he sort of came up making, you know, videos about symbolism in movies. Most prominently, as far as I know, that's really his niche, you know. Even though he strays into everything though, because, you know, he's interested in a lot of things, I suppose.
He did a gaming video. He did an Assassin's Creed video a few weeks ago.
He did?
A month ago.
I don't even watch his videos anymore, man, because you know, like, well, we're not even really friends anymore, I guess. We don't really talk. But
that's not good.
There was a falling out between him and Jeff C, and then he couldn't stomach the idea of me still being friends with Jeff, and so he sort of just said, look, you know, I'm not gonna, I don't want to be associated with anybody associated with Jeff, basically. Right? You know, he's a stubborn guy. Once you get to know him, he's a good guy, but he's stubborn, and he's a little bit sensitive too. He's a sensitive guy too, so, you know.
Yeah, that's how it is with the emotional types. I'm also an emotional type. Yeah. Sometimes I rage on comments, but I try to control that, you know.
Yeah. No,
it gets crazy.
Yeah, I've been there, but I've learned to control it for the most part, you know.
It's almost like a game now. We have to use the tools of the enemy, you know, this PR. Like, you have to be careful what you reply, because then other groups of individuals come at you and judge you and misunderstand what you wrote.
Yeah.
It's like a really crazy world. Before I started this channel, I was just doing a podcast radio thing, right?
Yep.
And this was just me and my mic and my guests and some people in the chat room. but YouTube is like a war zone.
Oh man, you don't even know. And I don't know if you saw the video that I posted. I mirrored it from. It was actually at a TED Talk conference. There was a former CBS reporter, Cheryl Atkinson, and she goes over how, like, you know, there's armies of trolls, you know, paid by special interests to go around, you know, YouTube and comment sections all over the internet, Facebook, etc., even Twitter, and basically troll for the corporations and the government. And I mean, this is a crazy video. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw that video. Yes, former CBS reporter exposes media lies, internet shills, and
yeah, and
something.
You know, it's
I saw that, and it was something made by someone in the area, in the zone, right, in the media.
right.
So it's a good information coming from someone in a TED Talk. I mean, it's credible information. Most of the people come there, speak passionately, and they have something important to tell. The fact that they are being used by TED, that's another thing. But yeah, it's getting crazy out there. You don't know who's a troll. You don't know who is real criticism. I encourage real criticism. Like if I see someone pointing at some failure in my video, I'm okay with that, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes there are just people who come and insult with no real meaning behind that. So that's the type of comments that I don't really allow.
It's tough to tell too, because you know there's people out there who really are just a bit psychotic and just they like putting people down. They get off to you know, making fun of other people and bringing up moot points just to discredit, you know, the content creator. Even if they agree with you, you know, some of these guys are truthers, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're shills. But you know, you don't really know. But they'll come on videos and just troll, you know, people like myself. And that's just what they like to do. Then again, some of them are shills. I mean, it's confirmed. This is going on. I mean, it's just you know, it's just, well, you can never tell though for sure.
Exactly.
It's one of those things that you just have to take it all with a grain of salt. A great example of somebody who is probably not a shill, and you know, give some criticism is. You know, I actually posted a video about a day ago now, and it's a mini documentary about the San Bernardino shooting. And I mean, it's it's well produced, I think, and it lays everything out, and no question that it was a false flag, and I show it all in the video. But I had one spelling error, and it pisses me off because, you know, it's in like the first couple frames. So it starts off the video and there's a spelling error, and I'm like, oh, and someone pointed it out. I missed it. Someone pointed it out, and I'm like, damn it, you know, like, but there was nothing I could really do except I just put an annotation in there because, you know, I wasn't going to take the video down. It's already got, you know, several thousand views. I'm not going to take it down once it's already being spread around just because of one little spelling
of course.
So, but
yeah,
still,
it's the San Bernardino shooting official story is complete bullshit, I believe.
No, it's the one after that. There's another one. I don't know.
False flag conspiracy. This one, mini documentary, the San Bernardino shooting, false flag. You posted it 15 hours ago.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to watch that. I'm gonna make some popcorn. But here's what's really cool. If you have like a small mistake, what I usually like to do is make a humoristic remark, like an annotation with something funny, recognizing my mistake and sort of putting it in a humoristic aspect, so that, you know, people go like, he recognized his fail. This is cool.
Yeah, well, I just sort of just, made a little, correction saying, I spelt the word wrong, whatever. I mean, it's not even a big deal.
It's not relevant. Like, I was talking with Nicholson, 1968, the transhumanism expert, and he is really cool, but he has like these small mistakes in his spelling, and a lot of ignorants are posting comments on his videos saying that just nasty stuff about the spelling errors instead of focusing on the message.
I know it really doesn't matter the spelling errors, and especially when it comes to actual knowledge of intrinsic sort of information, right? Because you can put the pieces together. You could be a genius and not know how to spell a certain word. I mean, it's not really it doesn't really apply in most situations, but when you're somebody like myself or a number of people on YouTube or even news reporters in the alternative media or whatever, you're trying to reach a certain scholarly demographic, and sometimes it's just even though it doesn't really matter, it's just like a thorn in your ass having that spelling error up there. It's like, damn.
I always try to do my best when it comes to posting videos, because English is my second language.
Yeah.
But still, it pisses me off if I see a spelling error or something. So I always rewatch my videos like 2-3 times before I'm rendering it.
Yeah.
But people like you, like Vigilant Christian, all these other people who make a lot of videos, maybe you don't have the time, because you just record fast. You want to put the information as fast as possible, so there's just not so much time left for rewatching.
Right.
the video.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yep. You want to hit it while the iron's hot, because you'll reach more people that way. It's just plain and simple. And it's amazing because of course, people like myself, when you get a number of subscribers and stuff, you have these trolls saying that, this guy's just doing it to monetize his videos and make money. But if you look at all probably the past 25 videos I've made, I'm not allowed to monetize those videos, because if it's a controversial subject, if it's anything in the news that has to do with a shooting, if it's anything that has to do with Syria, or geopolitical sort of stuff, they won't even let you monetize it. And that's all I do, right? Is videos like that. So they don't even let me monetize most of my videos. So I don't even make barely any money off this channel. This channel doesn't even let me support myself. Not even close. I mean, I make maybe as much as you would make at a part-time job working 20 hours, making $10 an hour off this channel. Like, it's not much, I put so much heart and passion into it that it's like, it's not even worth it financially, it's not even worth the effort I put in, but I still do it because, I have a passion for it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's,
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And people who think that you are wrong should see how YouTube works. There are even videos to explain in depth the monetization process. I myself don't really monetize my videos because there's no point for me. Yeah. But for the people who are monetizing, they will find out that first of all, the people who are watching the video, they have to watch the commercial. If they skip the commercial, the money is gone, basically, for those commercials that appear in the beginning. And those are very important. And even if someone watches a commercial, only a certain percentage goes back to the author of the video, to the channel owner. The rest goes to YouTube and
I think like 45% goes to YouTube. And the rest, you get like 60% or 50% of the actual earnings. And it's just, I mean, especially, and look, this is where it really is very, very different for people like myself in my niche, covering breaking news stories, covering a lot of violent conflicts, covering geopolitical situations, especially Syria. I've done a lot of videos on Syria, about Russia, about
Turkey, Russia.
Yeah. None of those are allowed to be monetized. So I don't make any money off those, and that's most of my videos. So if you're somebody like, let's say, the Vigilant Christian, which he's a friend of mine, nothing against him, but most of his videos are about, celebrity propaganda and stuff like that, Illuminati symbolism, and they get a bunch of views, and he most likely can monetize most of those videos because they're not having anything to do with military conflict and stuff like that. YouTube's tricky like that, anything that really matters, right? In the end, when it comes to, governments, and when it comes to like power shifts, right? They won't let you monetize those videos, and that's really the struggle. But it is what it is. That's what I'm here to do. It's like that's what I'm passionate about. I do the Illuminati videos sometimes if I see something that really jumps out at me, but for the most part, lately at least, I haven't done videos like that. But they're just as important when it comes to waking people up. But when it comes to the actual power structure and showing corruption, like on a political, economic, military level, it doesn't really have that much of a persuasion on that when it comes to Illuminati symbolism,
and that's why I have you as my at my recommended channel list, and it's a very small list. I only have 3 people who I recommend, and one is ODD TV, one is Nicholson 1968, and one is you, Press Reset Earth, and that's it.
Oh man, that's a good list though.
and speaking of that, what are your favorite YouTubers when it comes to the Truther Zone?
Oh, that's a good question. One of the more recent channels that I've been...
You probably have a lot, but name like between, I don't know, 5, 7 channels maybe. I don't know.
I like Spiro. I don't know if you know Spiro. His style is a lot like Dabu, and I like Dabu too. I mean, the list would be really long, and it's tough because I don't want to like forget certain people, I like your channel too, man. It's like so I guess the ones that have stuck out to me though recently is probably Spiro, Spy Kitten TV. She's new. You may have heard of her. She delves into the symbolism a lot, the Illuminati symbolism. And yeah, she just started her channel maybe a month or 2 ago. She's good. She has a lot of potential, and I think she's gonna end up having a lot of subscribers. She covers a lot of stuff too. She covers a lot of the same topics I cover as well. She covers like geopolitical issues and all kinds of topics. So I like her channel. Another channel I've been watching a lot lately, which I wouldn't really consider this guy a truther, but it's like right on. He subscribed to me, and he actually recently messaged me and said he likes my channel, and so he is a bit of a truther, but his content mostly pertains to like the realm of political correctness and feminism and the sort of Black Lives Matter movement and stuff, and exposing communism and Marxism and stuff like that. It's more of a I guess grounded mainstream approach to those topics. His name is Sargon of Akkad. You may have heard of him because he's like one of the leaders when it comes to this Gamergate controversy, right? I know that he's done a lot of work there. So he has a lot of cool videos, and he's a funny guy, and I've been watching his videos, but I wouldn't really consider him a truther. But Um, but he is awake, and because he's messaged me and stuff and told me that he likes my channel. So, um, that's that. That's all. And Red Silver J always does a really good job. I don't always agree with him, but um, I mean, he does a great job exposing like corruption and stuff too. So, I mean, there's a lot of channels, but all of those stick out to me lately, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting because I don't really know much of these channels, even though you expected me to know them. I don't really know them.
Oh, really?
I just kind of do my own thing and check out some of the main channels, and that's it. And the only other guy that I really respect a lot is ODD TV. When he, he's an atheist. Everyone has its own views. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I really like him. I saw him when he had like, we had the same number of subscribers, and then he made some really quality videos with even better editing than mine. Like, he's really good. He stays in After Effects and makes like really professional looking intros, and it counts, everything counts. And he just lays out perfect videos, and
Yeah,
he's got
I've
the
ever
voice.
Heard of him. I have to. That's one.
And you probably won't like him because he did a documentary on flat Earth too.
It's flat Earth. Oh, that's funny. I mean, no, I got nothing against people who think the Earth's flat. I just think they're wrong. And
here's the thing. ODD TV never comes to you and says, your view is wrong, mine is good.
Right. That's fine, because of course, many of the flat earthers, they'll real, and it's not as bad now as it was, because I think it's dying down a bit, but and trust me, they wouldn't like it if they heard me say that. But yeah, the buzz has died down a little bit, but when it was at its prime, and I made like,
I remember.
Yeah, he's like, I remember. Yep. I made a debunking video, exposing the fact that it isn't true, right? That it's not true, flat Earth, blah blah blah. I only made 2 videos about this, which everyone thinks I'm like the #1 critic of flat Earth, but I've only made 2 videos.
Nah, it's probably more because of the views that you expressed in the podcasts.
Right, that too. Yes, of course.
With the unlimited number of flat Earth type people in the chat room.
Yeah, no
always
doubt.
always insulting, and ODD is not like that, man. He's professional. He just expresses his views, makes videos, and he now has like closing 8,000 subscribers. This is really cool.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's cool.
I'm kind of stuck, and I'm going down, but it's okay.
You're losing subscribers? That ain't right.
Nah, it's like sometimes I wake up, it's a new day, and I look at my subscribers numbers, and they went down with like 2, 3. It's like it goes down, and then 4 more come and 2 disappear.
Oh,
it's really strange.
That's very, very common. I mean, if you look at like my statistics, I lose like freaking hundreds of subscribers every month, and
but hundreds come back.
Hundreds come back, and it's interesting too, because how you can see that list of exactly who's subscribed to you recently. I don't know if you ever looked at that.
Yeah. That's how I noticed you subscribed to me on the second channel.
Yeah. I have people all the time resubscribing that unsubscribed months ago, but also, and this is where we don't really have control over what goes on, because I think YouTube automatically sometimes, for some reason, right, for some odd reason, unsubscribes people from my channel and probably your channel
from
unwillingly.
The conspiratorial channels.
Right. Well, I don't even know if it's only conspiratorial channels either, because I've looked this up, and I've seen people in forums talk about this that don't have conspiracy channels. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happened more often to conspiracy channels, because I have people that I talk to, like yourself, occasionally on Skype, whatever, that wouldn't unsubscribe from me for any reason, and they didn't, and they come to me and they say, for some reason, I keep getting unsubscribed from you. And I see them every month or two resubscribed because I always check who recently subscribed, and it's always like Professor Doom was one of them. I don't know if
Yeah, I know Professor Doom. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. I check him out.
yeah. He actually, a few months back, I saw him subscribe to me like 2-3 times in like a 1 month period. I was like, this is so weird, right? So yeah, I think that goes on, and it's just what can you do? There's literally really nothing you can do. And speaking of Professor Doom, he actually came out with a video recently talking about how this was happening to him too. People were getting unsubscribed from his channel as well, and I believe there is something you can do. I think he has a video showing his subscribers that you can, check off more notifications from a particular channel, and at least increase the chances of staying subscribed and not getting unsubscribed. But I didn't even bother. I'm not going to make a video about that because I just don't have the time and the patience. I just don't care enough. I do it more because it's a passion of mine, and I believe whoever is meant to see it will see it, sort of thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, the passion is clear when I look at how you speak, and like Professor Doom and all these people. You all guys speak with a lot of passion, and that's really cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Professor Doom's another great channel too. I forgot so many, and of course,
sometimes it's a little bit crazy and off the charts, but that's okay,
Yeah. I mean, everyone sort of goes off the rails every now and then, anyway. So I mean, it's part. I mean, you could even have a non-conspiratorial channel. I've seen channels go off the sort of come to conclusions that are a little bit, that doesn't, add up totally. It's just one of those things. People get so passionate. Sometimes they get, I don't want to say blinded, just they get, caught up, and sort of, too caught up. That's the best way I can describe it. And they go off the rails a bit. But that, it happens to me too. I mean, it's something though I've tried to learn from, and I try not to. I like to think I've been more on the straight and narrow, and showing as much proof and evidence as I can lately. Because that's how I believe we can wake people up. Really documenting and proving what you're saying, and it's cool to rant, and ranting sometimes you're not going to show the documentation proving what you're saying, but I think you need those videos as well.
Exactly.
That show the articles and stuff.
I agree. You need to be coherent. You need to show clear things to people, so that more serious type of viewers will stick along. Not just the choir, who will always stick along no matter what you post.
Right.
I will subscribe. I will remain subscribed to you even if you made some bullshit video.
Right. Yeah. That's what I mean. I mean, and that's no offense, but those aren't the people I'm trying to reach necessarily. Even though I love my subscribers, I love the people that are there, subscribed, sticking with me no matter what. But at the same time, what's the real end game here? What's the real goal? And I think it's to bring new people in, to wake up others who aren't yet exposed to this information, or haven't yet been convinced by this information or by this perspective, this, I guess you could say, conspiratorial perspective.
Yes, but sometimes that kind of pisses me off. because it gets repetitive. I make a video.
You're right.
I make a video, let's say in my gaming area, right? So I make a games exposed on something. Then I have to prove who are the Templars and what they did and how the symbolism affects all that. And on the next episode, I come up with the same problem where I have to kind of prove the same thing. So what, am I gonna do it again?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I totally know. I know, and that's where you got to find that balance, I guess. You know, but yeah, you're exactly right, because you can't just over-explain everything, you know, and prove that. Let's say, you know, like for instance, with the recent shooting we saw, one of the interviews consisted of, I believe, one of the witness family members or one of the victims' family members. This guy in a Freemason hat. He had a hat with the compass and the G on it. And this is on like national news and stuff. He's being interviewed. He's like, yeah, you know, my daughter's in there or whatever. And she said that she heard shots fired. She's hiding under the table or something like that. And this guy's wearing a Freemasonic hat. Now, when I show that, you know, do I go into the whole history of the Freemasons and show you how they're controlling everything? Even though that's only one little aspect of my video, right? That guy wearing that hat. I mean, there's so much more proof that I want to show. Why delve into the history of Freemasonry, right? But
it's gonna take like a million minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even do it in an hour-long video sufficiently, really. I mean, you know, I guess you could just.
You need at least 10 minutes to at least explain.
Right. I mean, yeah, to explain even briefly about and prove briefly, you know, that the Freemasons have a lot of influence in the power structure. But you know, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just say, look, the Freemasons, they have so much pull. They have so much influence, and they're pulling the strings. Just look it up. You know, you got to do the research, and then I'll move on, right? Just tell them to do the research. Every now and then, that's what you would do, right?
Or you can reference to a video that you've already made.
That's true, too. Right. Yeah.
I'm actually thinking of, or maybe this would be a good idea for you too, or any other guy has a YouTube channel on this subject, to kind of express their ideas on what is the, you know, you said power structure, what are the main symbols, what's the deal with them, and make like a video specifically on that and their perspective on how the stuff goes, even though that might create another war, just like the view of the planet create a war. You know, the flat earthers and the spherical. Neil deGrasse Tyson, he said it's a pear.
Yeah.
He said it's pear-shaped. So
yeah.
You know, we have to be careful not to fight each other, even if we have different views on things, as long as we don't force each other. Like, here's the way I see it. I may say I may make a huge title with Illuminati Exposed, you know, but for me, Illuminati, it's not the one secret society, or that society which was the Bavarian Illuminati.
Right.
For me, Illuminati, it's a philosophy, it's a concept. It's like saying, for example, hacking. And let's say a group of kids name themselves to the hackers, and they give their hacking group the name the hackers, but it's a hacking group. If they destroy themselves and then they don't exist tomorrow, that doesn't mean that hacking has gone completely. It just means that the group, the hackers, disappeared, but hacking exists. So it's the same with these secret societies and control grids that exist.
That's a perfect analogy, yeah. And I think, you know, that's where a lot of newcomers get confused. You know, they see the word Illuminati, or they hear you talk about, you know, it's an Illuminati symbolism. It's Illuminati controlled media. You know, they think, oh, There's one secret society controlling the world. Yeah, right. Well, of course there isn't one secret society controlling the world. I mean, you know, it represents a much more broad term, much broader term. You know, and of course you got the Freemasons, you got these guys who go to Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones. You got the Zionist Jews. You got all of these different groups working together, the Vatican, the Jesuits, and all that.
Bilderberg and all that.
Bilderberg, right? And of course, you better believe they probably feud. They feud every now and then too. You know, they don't agree on everything, but you know, they have this general philosophy of sucking the population dry of our energy, our resources, our, you know, even our emotional, metaphysical energy, right? So they have this general philosophy that really is all encompassing. They're just parasites, and that's what it's all about. So, you know, it can almost be compared to, you know, the truth movement in a way. You have this philosophy that, you know, there's people behind the scenes pulling the strings, the elites, the Illuminati, so to speak. But within our movement, trying to expose that, there's so many different, I guess, I don't want to call them cliques, because that's not really what it is in regards to the truth movement, but there's so many different perspectives and ways of looking at things, and it's not all exactly the same. You know? So
yeah, I get you. Like, there's the different sections. Sometimes I may talk to you, and tomorrow I may talk to an enemy of yours who you don't agree with.
Yeah, I mean, that's
the same. It's the same with the secret societies. Like, sometimes there are multiple members of different. Like, you may see a Mason, but also in the Bilderberg group. So. But also you may see secret societies fighting each other, and I think some of the old secret societies don't exist anymore, but I also think, and are not that relevant, but there might be new ones with very powerful members that we don't even know about. So when I say Illuminati, I'm speaking about a whole kind of spirit, a whole kind of philosophy, the same philosophy. And here is where I reference, I always reference this book, Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike, which was the 33rd degree Sovereign Grand Master of Scottish Rite. And he laid down in that book their opinion of us, basically, where there is this view that you get while you're reading that they're talking about a bunch of cattle. You know, they're like, these guys are all primitives. We must lead them, because otherwise it's gonna be chaos and we're all gonna die. But what makes them different than us? You know, they're human too. They're a human error basically exists. So no matter if they consider themselves enlightened, they should reconsider, because they're human and they're not perfect, and their system is not going to be perfect, and that's why it's not working, and that's why their New World Order is not working. It works in some aspects, but you can see it's not working. It's just a failure, basically. So that's why I don't trust the New World Order or the Illuminati or any kind of centralized system of control who thinks that they can control a certain part of humanity. You know, I don't trust them, because there isn't a single example in human history to show that a group of people have been controlled successfully by another group of people. You know?
I mean, the benevolent dictator, that's a very rare tale. You know, and if a group of people, a group in the population, like the population of a specific country, is controlled by an elite few, like micromanaged level, you know, like if they really are being controlled to the point where it's the freedom is gone. It always ends in disaster. I mean, look at Soviet Russia. I think that's a perfect example.
Well, I was in the Soviet bloc myself. I mean,
Oh, really?
I wasn't born yet. I was born in 1990, which is exactly a year after communism crushed itself. But it imploded. It imploded. There was a series of revolutions in all the countries under the control of the Soviet boot. And it just crumbled upon itself, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that's what usually happens throughout history. Now, what's the big sort of controversy now, or what's the conflict consist of now? What's the war more sort of dressed in? I would say psychological warfare. So it's more of a mind. It's like a war on your mind. Exactly what the Alex Jones guy would say, but it's true. There is a war on for your mind. So it's more now psychological, spiritual war. And throughout history, it's been a little different. In many cases, at least, it was more like a physical type of war to become free from the elite. Now it's more of a spiritual, psychological war. You have all of this propaganda designed, and it's a chemical war too. See, that's another thing we sort of miss out on quite frequently, is that they're putting all of these chemicals in our food and our water, especially here in America, and they're trying to pump us with their prescription medication, and that's more so part of the war than, let's say, down the barrel of a gun, right? That's more what it consists of now. And the war on your mind, that's huge. I mean, that's huge because, even if you shift public opinion about a certain topic to the point where it's really a tipping point, the elite have a lot of trouble trying to still promote that agenda. Like gun control is a great example. In America, you had more support for gun control before incidents like Sandy Hook happened, because after Sandy Hook, people looked at that event, because I know from experience. I mean, I had friends, on Facebook in real life that I grew up with that aren't into conspiracies now, weren't into conspiracies before Sandy Hook, but when Sandy Hook happened, they were like, wow, that looks fake, and because of that revolution in the mind, after Sandy Hook, there was actually a lot more support for gun control, because people looked at that event and they were like, this don't look real, this looks fake. And so they were like, well, they want to take the guns, right? The government wants to take the guns. There must be a reason for that. Well, I'd rather keep the guns. They're faking news stories to take our guns. Why would we want,
How effective have been these hoaxes over the years in law, let's say, what concerns this gun issue that you have in the United States?
Federally, there hasn't been much effect across the United States. But if you look at it from state to state, there's been more draconian gun laws passed as a result of these false flags and hoaxes on a state level. So, you have all of these local communities getting together where these events occur. And, it's more of a political approach to things. They'll have all of these representatives in different districts all of a sudden be influenced by the alleged tragedy, right? The supposed tragedy which occurred in their district or their state. And they ended up like in California. I forget the bill. I think it was called the Elliot Rodger bill, and they had a lot of good luck with that bill getting through Congress in California. But in regards to nationwide gun laws, there hasn't been much infringement as a result of the false flags or hoaxes that I'm aware of. You know, there has been threats from Obama to enforce gun control via executive order. And in fact, I think he recently threatened to do that as a result of the San Bernardino shooting. So that's always there. That potential is there. But you're not going to see it get through Congress, I don't think, because it's just there's so much public dissent when it comes to infringing upon the Second Amendment here in the United States. People don't want that. Even in the liberal states, many people are opposed to this, especially the more politically active people. So, sure, you have a lot of people who don't know jack shit about politics or economics or anything, that can't even name their senator or their congressperson or their governor.
Yeah, Mark Dice made some examples with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. And those are the type of people that support gun control. But most of those people don't even vote at the local elections. So they'll vote for president and that's it. And they're not out there voting for their senator, their representative, their governor. So in the end, they don't have any say when it comes to the federal you know, what do you call it? So when it comes to the laws being passed by their state representatives on a federal level, right? Because if the state representatives, you know, vote for a certain gun control law to be implemented nationwide, you'll see a major backlash in that particular state when it comes to the supporters of the you know, congressperson involved.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you got going on there. I mean, it's just, I don't know. That doesn't mean they're gonna stop.
Why they keep doing that's the question that comes to mind. I saw it from someone who criticized the hoax video, and he put a question, you know, that resonates. Like, why do they keep doing the hoaxes if it doesn't work?
Well, I mean, they're not gonna just stop. You know, see, like,
why they don't do something else?
Well, they do, and this is why you see different sort of psyops popping up. For instance, you know, you had all these shootings occur. You had the elementary school shooting at Sandy Hook, where children died. I mean, they went all out with that psyop, right? And it didn't work. So they're like, well, let's change it up. Maybe we can poke at the people's heartstrings some other way. So they tried, you know, shooting up a college campus, or allegedly shooting up a college campus with the Elliot Rodger shooting. Well, where was that? Oh, Santa Barbara. And so that's a different psyop. It's playing on a different aspect of the mind. You know, the first one you had children, next you had college kids, and then you had the one in Charleston, the Charleston church shooting with, you know, church-going black folks. And then you had this was the most interesting one, and I think this may have had not an effect in law, but it was the most traumatic for people, for the average person who doesn't know what's going on, to see the WDBJ alleged shooting with Allison Parker being killed and Adam Ward allegedly, you know, these two figures being killed live on television, right? So there's a certain and I believe it was White Rabbit that brought this up during a discussion we had live about this shooting. There's a certain power in airing something live on television, right? There's a certain esoteric potency to that. You know, it's a lot more psychologically traumatic to see it live on TV. That's why 9/11 was such a traumatic event. You know, there's a certain power to that.
Man, they even aired that in Romania. I mean, why would we care, you know? But they aired it, like...
Which one? WDBJ?
No, the 9/11. 9/11 was broadcasted all over the world. And it was broadcasted really fast, like immediately. Right, boom, boom, in every country.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me that because the United States being the most powerful, I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but there's a reason for that, you know? At the same time, it's... In 9/11, there is so much esoteric perspective to be had there with that event. I don't know if you watched ever...
Man, it was crazy. I remember. I was 11 back then, but I remember. And then they fueled us to have like hate over Iraq for no reason. You know, they made us Romanians care of a war that we shouldn't care about. Or, you know, they said, Iraq's, it's so bad. Look, Americans, we go America. Yeah. And we watched the bombs fall on Iraq, and we were like, yeah. So stupid, man. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, I think they actually invaded Afghanistan and then Iraq. So a few years later, it was Iraq, but, you know...
it's just flashes, you know.
Yeah, and it's deeper than that, I think, because when 9/11 occurred, it was the most viewed event in human history. I mean, it was a major... collective traumatic moment. Yeah,
I would say it's also a deliberate effort of world press, maybe, because it's hard to broadcast something in the same time all over the world. Usually these things take planning. You plan for the world's football, soccer event for a long time. It takes time, but with this, it was like instant. It was like this, so we all can see at the same time. So maybe the conspiracy is bigger.
Yeah, and maybe it is, because I know... have you ever seen, what's it called? 9/11... Oh, I forget the name of it. I'm having a brain fart. It's basically about how, you know, the whole thing... Like, basically, it goes into the no planes theory. That really there were missiles that hit the towers, and they somehow video edited.
Here we're gonna get in another crazy rabbit hole where there exists like 7 different areas. You know, some people believe it was lasers. Some people believe it was planes. Some people believe it was fucking the spaghetti flying monster.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, there's so many different theories, and you know, it's all they're all hypotheses, though. None of them can be confirmed. So that's the tricky part. All we know is that the official story doesn't make sense. That's what we know for sure.
The outcome is very important. That's what I think. We should focus on what happened after, not what color, what were the planes. You know, I think we should focus on what effect it had on the world and on the rights of the people and all this other, the aftermath.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on forever. I think the whole modern world post 9/11 was shaped by that event, has been shaped by that event, and everything that came after that event militarily is basically is a result of that event. Everything that came after that event politically, even, well, not everything, but many things, it's all a result of that event. You know, there's so much to be talked about there. I mean, it's just It's unbelievable.
And now they do a 9/11 in Europe, over here with the Paris attack, right?
Yeah. Whew.
It's crazy. I mean, I can tell you there was a lot of fear being generated by the press. You know, people hate Muslims now more than ever, and they don't hate a specific group. They just hate Muslims.
Yeah.
You know, it's a Muslim, let's hate him. that's how people work.
I've never seen it quite like this before. Even after 9/11, well, especially in Europe, right? In America, you saw this after 9/11 to some extent, this Islamophobia thing. But now in Europe, ever since the beginning of the refugee crisis, or I should really call it the migrant crisis.
Man, that's an entire issue. Like, in that movement, you know, sorry for interrupting, but it's like crazy, man. Like, imagine waves of millions of Syrians being flooded in Europe. I mean, I don't agree with that so much.
I don't agree with it either. I mean, I think it's preposterous. And, you know, if you look into the stories surrounding the crisis itself, many of these migrants aren't even war refugees, right? They're just going up into Europe to seek refuge.
To seek something which is impossible. Like, they had so big expectations. They thought their whole life was going to change. It's because they didn't find that. Many of them broke psychologically, and they started to throw rocks at cars, and they just flipped out. And this again fuels the fear towards you know, Islam and all that kind of stuff. And it's just people psychologically broken who
I couldn't agree more. It's really the it's a toxic concoction. You have these you know, migrants coming up into Europe, and many countries in Europe, like Germany, like Norway.
Yeah, Merkel was like, we accept 2 million, 3 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's well, I think America next year is accepting 100,000. But I don't know. I think Canada's accepting quite a few as well. So I don't know. Maybe that America statistic is all of America, but
hey, at least Hungary was realist. They were like, hey, we have our own problems. We need to take care of our own. We can't accept refugees. We have starving people in our own country. We're struggling with that. We don't need this. And they made like giant walls protecting the country.
Yeah, and I've never seen such, you know, such palpable. I can't even speak. I've never seen so many people angry over, you know, something like Islam before. You know, it's just there's such high tensions right now. And I've talked about this in the past, right? Before this refugee crisis really even started, I've talked about the coming race war, right? And of course, much of this is engineered by the powers that be, okay? So you have a country like Syria, and then you have, you know, a continent like Europe. Now, if you want to start a race war, if you want to get Muslims and, you know, European natives, or, you know, just Christian/atheist European natives fighting with one another, how do you do that? Well, you bring a bunch of unwesternized Syrian migrants, and they're not only from Syria. Too many of these migrants are from Libya. You know,
and some could even be agents brought in by Saudi Arabia or some stuff like that.
Right. I mean, they're all from just the Middle East, right? They're all Arabs, and most of them are Muslims. So, you know, you have these people. Their countries are being bombed, right? And, you know, it's just terrible, right? And then you have the Western-backed groups like ISIS coming in, beheading Christians, beheading even Muslims, other Muslims. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So,
man, they behead everyone. They're like, you didn't look good at me. Allahu Akbar.
Right. So
cut
you
your head
have
off.
that, and this is a term we call here in America. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called the carrot and the stick. So the stick basically gets people via force to do something you want them to do, right?
Yeah.
So the stick, you use the stick to push, let's say the rabbit into the hole or whatever, down the rabbit hole. So you use the stick to push him into the rabbit hole, or you can use the carrot at the same time as when you're using the stick to entice the rabbit into the rabbit hole. So you got the carrot and the stick. We're using both the carrot and the stick here. We're using the stick, which is to bomb the heck out of the Middle East, which has been going on since 9/11. Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, etc. And then you have the carrot. What's the carrot? All of these benefits offered by countries like Germany, countries like Norway. They're literally saying, come on in. We'll house you. We'll feed you.
Yeah, they just need the cheap labor force. On the other hand,
yeah, well, of course, that's always going to benefit the elite as well. But there's no programs to assimilate these people, either. To actually nationalize these incoming migrants and to make them part of the country. No,
it's gonna take a lot of generations.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a huge problem because the ideology of many of these Muslims coming into Europe is not congruent with Western values, right? It's just not the same, and that's going to cause tension. That's why I saw this coming. I was like, you watch, the race war is coming. The race war is coming. In Europe, it's going to be between, European natives and Muslims. And then in the United States, and this is what we have going on here for the most part, it's black folks versus white folks, basically, because it's a different situation here. It's more, when it comes to the oppressed demographic, it's more black folks in the United States than anybody else that's oppressed by the system. But Muslims in Europe, that's more the situation there. The Muslims are more the typical oppressed minority, or the typical, I guess.
And also gypsies, which is inappropriately called gypsies. It's actually flawed term, because people thought they were Egyptians, so they said gypsies, but it's actually Roma people. Just as a parenthesis, we don't even call the people right. It's just like you guys called Native Americans Indians, right?
Yeah.
And Indians, it's incorrect. So it's the same with gypsies. But they are oppressed here a lot.
Wow.
And people judge them because of the actions of a few of them. So that's not cool, and it's the same with Muslims. People, even if you get your leg blown off by a Muslim, you might get you might get patched up by a Muslim doctor,
right?
Yeah. So we've got people in the system who help us, and they are Muslim, so I have to take that in consideration,
right?
It's the same as judging the whole of Christianity on what Westboro Baptist Church does.
right. But to be fair, even Westboro Baptist Church, as far as I know, they're not violent. So that's where it's almost like,
okay, KKK then.
Well, the KKK isn't even violent anymore.
Yeah,
they used to be.
They're scared now. They don't got the numbers. But back then, when they had a lot of members from the government, and
the KKK used to be really bad, in this country, and it's disgusting. So, it's very, yeah, exactly, though. I mean, even back then, let's say back in the 40s, when the KKK was violent and the KKK was prevalent, how could you judge all white people based on the KKK, right? It's like ridiculous. So it's very similar. You have, all of these Muslims coming up, and plenty of them are probably good people, but many of them are going to be, violent people as well. So you can't stereotype everybody just based on that. So it's like, it's just a sad situation,
It's extremists who were supported by the Westerners, actually, and created by the Westerners, who gave them the money and the guns, and also, sponsored by China and Turkey, they buy the oil of ISIS and stuff like that. So, we then judge them and all that, but they are our creation. It's like we've created a giant monster.
Yep. And I made a video about this too, right? I suspect that this whole crisis is more of a Trojan horse. So you have these migrants coming up. Many of them aren't planning on blowing up anything. They really just want a better life. But you also have these Western-backed Al-Qaeda forces, ISIS forces, that are going to use this as a Trojan horse to come on in and wreak havoc in Europe. And the West knows this. This was all done intentionally, I believe. That's why you have countries like Germany offering benefits to these people. It's to create this Trojan horse effect, right? So, it's like, it's just a deception. Within all of these migrants, you're going to have these Western-backed extremists coming in. It's like an invasion force of these U.S.-funded, NATO-backed, Israeli-backed Islamic terrorists, and that's what we got going on. I mean, this is literally like we're being invaded in Europe and even in America by ISIS and Al-Qaeda and all of these affiliated groups that are funded and backed by the West. So that's what this was all done intentionally, I believe. I think this is a long-term agenda to bring about the problem reaction solution, right? So if you have these some of these Muslim extremists funded by the West bombing and shooting up facilities in Europe and the United States, it gives the governments, it gives the powers that be a pretext, an excuse to pass the draconian laws to limit people's freedom, to control the population more thoroughly. Because we gotta protect ourselves from these Muslim extremists. We have to sacrifice our liberties for safety, right?
Yes, I want to say that, and there's examples, in movies given to us, maybe also by them. Who knows? Maybe they're laughing their asses off, but there's a movie called Priest. I don't know if you've seen that. But then there's also Equilibrium and all that. When, because of this fear, people they turn in even their emotions. Because they say emotions lead to acts of terror. So therefore, we must destroy all our emotions and take pills to be like machines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very gloomy, very dark thing, but it's
Equilibrium, right? That's from the movie Equilibrium. Yeah, that was a great movie, by the way, with Christian Bale. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, good one. And also THX 1138, which is made the first movie by George Lucas before he made Star Wars. There's a movie called THX 1138.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Which is fantastic. It's exactly the same. I almost think that Equilibrium ripped off THX. Or there was this other movie called The Island, also. So it's a underrated movie that's less known. Most people know Star Wars, but THX 1138. I'll type that for you, and maybe we can check it out on some. Even online, it's kind of hard to find, but
yeah, I'd like to see that actually.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good. But and you've got this guy Donald Trump. Since you've got the elections coming up, they're approaching. I've seen some things. I mean, he's good at criticizing all the others, but I've seen some key points in his talk that kind of shows what kind of person he is. And he was talking very extreme, as in, we must build walls and keep everyone out and make laws and against everything to be safe. And then he also said about the internet today. And
that's exactly what I was going to bring up. Yeah, and that's where
it's like we gotta ban some sections of the internet, call Bill Gates. But that even shows his superficiality, because you can't just stop the internet by calling Bill Gates.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. Like, I mean,
but it shows what kind of person he is. He's all for sacrificing safety for, liberty for safety.
Right, and that's what I'm highly opposed to that, and that's why I won't be voting for Trump. Obviously, he actually has some good points he makes. He came out and said,
and he's good at criticizing the others. I said it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and so it's like, it's just, it doesn't end up outweighing the draconian nature of some of his rhetoric, like banning the internet because this is what he proposed, to restrict the internet because some Muslims go on
in some areas, restrict the internet in some areas, but what areas?
Yeah, because Muslims go on the internet and they get, they
go on Facebook and Twitter and
and they get extremized or
recruit people.
Yeah, exactly, and they get brainwashed, I guess you could say, by ISIS on the internet. I mean, come on. So you're going to restrict the internet because of all that? Because of ISIS recruiting other Muslims across the world? I mean, how much of a threat is Islamic extremism really? I mean, how many people are actually dying from cancer caused by all of the chemicals they're putting in our food and water? Why don't we speak out against that? Why don't we have the president go up on stage, or the guy running for president, why don't we have Trump go up there and say, hey, why don't we ban aspartame? Why don't we ban that instead of banning the internet so these Muslims don't get, radicalized or whatever? It's just ridiculous. How many people really die in America or even in Europe? I mean, I don't want to downplay the
well, at least in European Union we banned a few of these nasty substances, But it's here. I mean, propaganda is here. We have they blame it on sugar levels, as they say, you have cancer because you take too much sugar. When it's not true. I mean, people 70 years ago, they ate a ton of sugar, they ate a ton of fat, and
it's the processed sugar.
And they lived,
processed sugar.
And they lived until 90 years old.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, they put the focus on something. They always put the blame on you instead of trying to find the real problem. But they can't do that because they're paid by the people who they should talk against in the first place. Just like how the feminist movement was established to push forward some businesses, the cigarette industry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You've got organizations, just like you were saying with the trolling, you've got organizations who are paid a lot by the movie industry, for example, to bring down internet piracy, which is illegal and all that, but I'm just giving it as an example. There are non-governmental organizations who are being paid to do something 24/7.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they say, "Oh well, the little artists are losing money because of pirates." No, it's not the little artists. It's the big movies, right? But they always try to appeal to the emotional side. They say, "Look at this artist here in his basement is losing a lot of potential customers." Man, last time I put something on the torrent, I didn't even have one view.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's illogical, and they do the same kind of tactics in everything. They have organization paid to troll your channels on the internet 24/7, and they've got associations who try to push some philosophical concepts in our mind.
Yeah.
Or to promote the transhumanism world, or to promote this and that. And so we're attacked from all kinds of directions, and that's what channels like me and you and others try to decrypt and, like an antivirus.
Right.
So the people have to decide whether they want to have this antivirus installed or not.
Ooh, that's a good analogy. Yeah, exactly. And because that's what it is. It's an antivirus. I think that's the best way to describe it. I mean, humanity has a plethora of infections. And it's not necessarily only the elite themselves. It's their agendas, their ideologies they try to brainwash us with. So it's so much. There's so much to cover, and as long as people, I think a huge sort of epiphany we need to have is that this is going on 24/7. They are working round the clock with their trolls, their shills, and their fake, accredited, polling groups and all of this propaganda. It's a whole industry. And in America, it's centered mostly in Washington, D.C., actually. And it's all of these groups that engage in astroturfing. So what that means is they basically start up fake grassroots movements that apparently appear to show support for, some of these draconian ideologies and some of these corrupt institutions like Monsanto, and they're going around trolling for Monsanto 24/7 and other entities 24/7. So as long as we know that this is going on, we can use real research and our intuition. We need to use a combination of logic, intuition, reason, and critical thought to determine what is best for us as individuals and for humanity as a collective as well. And if we recognize that there is a war, a psychological, spiritual war going on with these groups, these special interests paying trolls, mostly on the internet, because that's where everything happens now, right? I mean, where else is it going to happen? It happens maybe in town hall meetings as well, and maybe in protests, on the ground protests as well. But most of this, it goes on the internet. So as long as we understand that's the case,
It's also in commercials and, everywhere they try to put their little message with philosophical, to kind of put a certain ideology installed in your brain. When you watch let's say an Xbox commercial, right, for the latest game, you see something in that commercial that has nothing to do with the product itself, but it's something completely different to kind of push forward their agendas. I can't give a clear example now, that doesn't come in my mind.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, they'll like install something about, for instance, gun control. To promote their game or something like that, right?
It's just like in video games where it's an entertainment program. I mean, it's an entertainment thing, right? But inside of it, you got all kinds of messages, all kinds like conspiracy theorists are all retards, for example. That's being pushed forward in any game I've seen. Like, there's not a single case where I've seen a conspiracy theorist in a game that is looked upon as a rational thinking person. It's always like this crazy nut type. So this is what they promote, right? This is what they spent hundreds of millions of dollars in to create these images in our mind. And it's just not just about conspiracy theories, it's also about religion. In the recent Assassin's Creed games, having a religion is like the conclusion at the end. It's like there is no higher power in this world. There is no creator. There is nothing. Also, we've got all these agendas being pushed on all kinds of levels. So that's what I try to decrypt. That's what I try to put out there. Like I said, like an antivirus. But the difference between us and them is that they have tons of money to create organizations, to hire people strictly, and pay people to bring their evil message. And we have no money, or we barely make some.
Yeah.
With our channels. But so we are indeed like in those movies, almost like in Terminator, where you have a giant machine that is like an unstoppable force with limitless resources, and we are just a bunch of people in rags with homemade weapons, homemade gear, rudimentary technology. Yeah. We're trying to fight this giant monster.
Yeah, it's exactly right, man. It's exactly right. Yep. Nail on the head there, dude. I mean, that's what it is right now, and it's a battle, but I think we have truth on our side in the end, and God on our side. So I think we're gonna end up winning in the end. So
where are you hanging out now? Like, do you still have those podcasts with the roundtables with some of the best channels like you used to, or?
Not really. No. I haven't been going on many live shows, but I plan on possibly doing or hosting some live shows on my channel on probably Press Reset Radio, right? And just making it more of a laid back atmosphere. I like that sort of approach with the live shows, even possibly dropping the link in the description box so anybody can join. Yeah, I mean that.
Man, you're not gonna have a laid back atmosphere with that, I tell you.
Like, yeah, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but who speaks loudest wins, and that's not cool. I think there needs a moderation so that anyone can express, not just the few people who can dominate the discussion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's a time for each of those scenarios, I think, and well, not necessarily, but it becomes.
But the idea is really cool. Open sourceness, give everyone a voice. That's a good idea. It's just how you apply it, so that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course, and trust me, I got probably a louder voice than anybody, so they're not gonna yell over me. So I'm the perfect moderator, I think. So, but yeah, it's just right now within the truther community, I guess you could say, there are some live shows popping up. Actually, most of them, or a lot of them, I've seen are based in the UK. Like, are you subscribed to Kip's Clips at all?
No, not really.
Yeah, I mean, he hosts a lot of live shows. And this guy right now, Eric Zipper, he's hosting a live show.
Man, since you know a lot of what's going on in this universe and all the YouTube channels. I mean, you should probably create a video entirely on that and recommend people where to go and what exists, what not exists. You know, you should make like, here's a bunch of shows, like just how you say to me now. I actually don't know them, but if you make a video with the cream of YouTube that you consider that is important, it would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I might do that. It's just, you know, there's so much coming in and out, you know, so many things to cover. It's just I never got around to it, kind of thing. But you know, I don't. Right now, I'm not involved in the live shows, but they're going on more and more, and I found it really interesting, actually.
Well, maybe you started the trend.
Yeah,
with the We'll Do It live sessions. I mean.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, but let me frame this in another way. What I mean is, this actually started not this year, but last year, the beginning of last year. Actually, right around the time you interviewed me last, right?
Yeah.
Sometime around then with the Max Resistance Roundtable, and then we had We'll Do It Live, and then a bunch of live shows popped up. And you saw them persist. A lot of different people hosting live shows. People that were fans of myself, of Truth Media, of Jeff C., hosting their own podcasts, but it sort of died down like this year, probably in like March or so, but it's starting to ramp back up again, and I think it's pretty simple as to why. I think people
burning out, maybe.
Huh?
I think a possibility is that people can burn out on talking about this. Like, let's say, you know, we have a lot of energy in this discussion that we're having right now.
Yeah.
But let's say we would have this discussion every day.
Right.
We would end up hating each other. So it's not cool, you know, you have to dose it correctly.
No, I totally agree. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, you know, all the time with all sorts of things. I think maybe as well, you know, people, I mean, it sounds very, very sort of common sense and a little cliche in a way, you know. Well, the weather gets cold, people are indoors more, right? And I think it might be that even plays you know, a role. The fact that, you know, the winter is coming, as they would say in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. In summer, everyone's having fun.
Everyone's not necessarily having fun, but you know, everyone's more apt to go outside, maybe, or you know,
which is great, you know, to look at the sky sometimes. Sometimes
right.
we forget to do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I do that all the time.
Man, I'm telling you, there are people locked in their little city mazes, and they look on the window, they see the other building, they can't even see the sky because the buildings are so tall. They go to work, come back home, and that's it. They don't even know about the sun and the moon. They don't have time to see that.
It's amazing, and you know, it's almost like a rat maze for many people. It's it becomes this artificial environment. And we talked about this before, I remember, actually, on our last interview. It becomes this artificial construct we're living in, nothing at all in touch with our genetic roots of what we're used to, being in nature, right? It takes the modern or the pre-modern man and puts him in this modern, postmodern environment, which is completely unfamiliar, completely unnatural to him, as a species, as a human, right? And
surrounded by spam and commercials 24/7 when you walk the street. Imagine what's in the brain, like picked up subconsciously. A lot of trash, you know, that we pick and stays there with us.
And we don't even know about it because it's subconscious. And it must, you know, you wonder why so many people, especially in America, and probably Europe too. I haven't read the latest statistics, but depression is rising, right? It wasn't as prevalent, it wasn't as common 50, 100 years ago. This is for a reason. It's because what we've been placed in, this society we've been
where
accustomed to
the
is
meaning of
unnatural.
life has been removed completely. I also like to add that, because if you have nothing to live for than just this maze, you're gonna end up depressed.
Of course. Yeah, and even the people who move up the ladder in this maze, in this artificial reality, sure, they may be able to provide, but in the end, they're not going to be fulfilled. They're going to end up being depressed as well. That's why you have so many. I mean, I have friends, right? I have friends that make a shitload of money, that graduated college and stuff. I graduated college too, but they make a lot more money than me. A couple of my friends, a couple of my buddies, and they're not happy though. I'm happier than these guys, and they envy me, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
and I don't make much money at all in my work. Whether it be on YouTube or at a day job or whatever. But I have a purpose.
And maybe you can appreciate the simple things in life. That's also something important.
Yes, yeah, of course, and yeah, I mean, people just they get so caught up in their own mind they can't even recognize the beauty of what's in front of them. That's what it is, and it may sound a little new agey, but I think it's true to sort of appreciate the present moment and just live in the moment. I think that's huge.
That's important too. I mean, there's nothing wrong about that. Even in a Christian viewpoint, I know you are a Christian.
Yep.
There's nowhere where it says you must hate yourself in your life.
Yeah. 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 Well, if it said that, I might have to stop being a Christian. But yeah, no, I mean, of course not. Of course it doesn't say that. I mean, and Jesus taught to live in the present moment and to appreciate everything's God's given you, and this is what life's about, and people just get so turned away from this simple,
love your enemies, love the Creator, but no one cares these days. It's all right though. I personally prefer the idea of an afterlife. It's just my personal view.
Right, and yeah, of course, I believe there's an afterlife as well. And yeah, I've even put myself sort of just to sort of get a general perspective of what it would be like to genuinely believe that there is no afterlife. And you know what? I wouldn't even care if there wasn't. It wouldn't really bother me, because what's the difference really if you have that mindset? Why wouldn't you still be a moral person, right? That's the way I see it.
It's no, but the recipe that is given, let's say, in Jesus' opinions and thoughts and what he gave us, it's like a recipe towards human health. So even if you are an atheist, morals and all this, of course you're gonna keep them, because it makes sense for your own benefit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a very, very good point. Yeah.
And even the fasting and Christianity is also important for health, because it detoxifies your body, and it's not just about your body; it's about your mind too, because it's about not having the thoughts that you usually have. Trying to become a better person. That's what fasting means. Not being so animal instinct based. I don't fast because there's a God waiting for me to beat me up if I don't fast. It's not a perspective of fear. It's because it makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
It's like it's completely in order with the natural world.
Yeah, the natural way of things, and that's what we've been removed from, though. All of those things that the Bible teaches us. That's what the intention of this artificial construct we're living in is. It's to take us away from being a healthy, moral, functioning, purposeful being. And you know, philosophies and religions like Christianity take us back there in most cases. Of course, there's some perverted versions of Christianity or any religion, has the perverted versions and the ones that,
which created war and destruction. I mean,
yeah, of course, and that's actually.
But they only point at that. They only say, "Oh, look what the Catholics have done. Religion creates war." But not religion creates war. It's the user who creates war. If I give you a knife, you can use it to kill me, or you can use it to cut the bread. It's entirely your choice. The knife has no fault. You know?
Of course. And religion for many years was used as a form, was manipulated to be used as a form of mind control over the masses. And I've gone over this in live podcasts, and it's it can be used to entrap somebody, or it can be used to free them. So in other words, if you really are in touch with God, with Christ, well, then it's going to be used to free you. But if you're trying to turn to a priest or a saint, I don't want to say a saint, but a worldly sort of flesh individual in the blood, in the flesh, that is going to, you're depending on them to bring you there. No, you're not going to be brought anywhere but a ball and chain in a jail cell kind of thing, metaphorically speaking.
Here's how I see it. You may ask for advice for someone who has studied that religion for his whole life, so you can take from his experience, but don't idolize.
Right, of course. Like if there's a mentor, speaking more, I guess, pragmatically, mentors aren't always going to be bad. If you have like a mentor, like a genuinely good pastor that wants to help you out, or a genuinely good, just person you look up to that guides you. I mean, yeah, that's all good. But in some cases, of course, and this is where you have to use your spiritual discernment. In some cases, these people can be end up being cult leaders, or and we see this all the time. Like even Donald Trump is a good example of this, right?
Actually, the business world has become the main religions today. It's infiltrated. The snake is there. You've got even one of a best friend of mine, who I met on the internet, but that doesn't mean if we don't see in reality, it doesn't mean we can still be best friends. But right. He used to be a priest, and he was like in the Catholic Church, and he came with some suggestions to his superiors, and they never listened to him. And he brought some important points, like what are we now? Are we a business, or are we trying to take care of the souls of the people? And he saw this kind of business mentality, and so he decided to leave, So he's not a priest anymore, but he's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
But just an example from the inside, it's corrupt. Everything is corrupted. It's almost like on this planet, we humans tend to create every good idea, it turns bad,
Yeah, it happens so often. It's sad. It really is. You see this all the time. It's crazy. It's even like I think a good example of this is modern day feminism, right? At first, feminism, what was it about? It was about getting women the rights they deserve, just like anybody else, just like any man, right? Which is fine. But now, feminism is about getting offended if you're called pretty,
like we're all rapists, right?
Yeah, all men are rapists.
You stand in a certain position, it's rape.
It's so ridiculous now, and look what it's been turned into. It's disgusting. And it's sad. It's really sad. And
there might be some good feminists out there. Like, we're not judging upon everyone, but
Right,
there
but
are these
likely
examples of
those feminists that are good, like some good feminists that I'll name. Right now, just a couple right off the top of my head. There's a band called Coco Rosie, and it's two girls basically, and they have some other people in the band too. But you know, it's basically two girls, two sisters, and they're kind of hippie-ish. But you know, they're feminists in the fact that they like are all about the feminine energy. You know, they like try to promote the feminine energy, but they don't hate men. They love men, just like women should, just like men should love women too. But you know, it's just like really what feminism really should be about is just promoting, you know, femininity, right? And trying to use the feminine energy to
and the equality of sexes, actually.
Well, yeah, well, of course, but I mean, like, that's sort of a given now. I mean, like, you know.
No, I mean they might even fight for our rights. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like fighting for both sexes, not just for females.
Oh, right.
That's what someone from who's actually a feminist told me.
Yeah. So because technically, many feminists will tell you that the actual textbook definition of feminism is to believe in the equality of the sexes. But, you know, it kind of doesn't make sense because that would just be like called, I think it would be called like genderism or something, because why would you name it after feminism? You know, it's just a term. So some people define it differently, you know, it's weird. You know, some people just define it differently. But, you know, it's just one of those subjects. It's like, it's been so perverted into something that
even their term feminism is sexist, right? We should go upon them. How dare you call yourself feminist? That's a sexist title. It's like if we created a movement tomorrow calling the man, you know, you would have feminists going like, how dare they make a man movement? It's sexist. It's sexist. They're excluding females. How dare they exclude females from their movement?
I know. It's like everybody gets so butthurt over everything. And that's basically what all of this has turned into. That's what you know, all of
serious issues have gone from the discussions.
Yeah.
They just they seem to not do anything important. They even go on the gaming industry now and do their stupid gaming attacks, in which they have no good points. In fact, one of their promoters, Anita Sarkeesian, has like this big channel, and she always disables her comments and her likes because, you know, the people can sense her proof is not proof. And
yeah, I know who Anita Sarkeesian is.
So
yeah.
So, you know, if she would let the comments and the likes, it would be like 80% dislikes. So,
you know, she went up at the UN, Anita Sarkeesian. I think this was like 2-3 months ago. Her and Zoe Quinn. I don't know if you heard of her, but
no.
They went up and spoke at the UN, asking the UN to censor the internet, so that people on the internet couldn't say hurtful things to them. So in other words, they want to censor anybody who says something like, "Oh, you suck," kind of thing, or "This is bullshit," right? Anything considered hurtful toward, I guess women, because they're feminists, right? They want that censored from the internet. They want it banned. It couldn't be more. I mean, this is where I think the whole ideology of feminism actually treats women like children, as if women can't handle somebody saying you suck. You know, why would you try to restrict people from saying that to women but not men, as if we have to pamper to women? You know, women can handle their own, I think, and they can deal with someone saying you
exactly right. They're independent human beings.
So that's what this is turned into, this feminism thing with people like Anita Sarkeesian.
They're going against their own principles. Like, they claim to be independent and powerful, yet they try to make these rules because this and that. But these rules mean that they aren't independent and powerful, since they require them in order to exist.
Right.
You know?
That's exactly what it is.
So it's a paradox.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the most contradictory thing. It's sort of it's like the snake eating its tail. You know, it ends up not serving women in the end, and that's why I oppose feminism, is because I really do like care about everybody, women, men. And when I see a group or a number of people like Anita Sarkeesian and the mainstream third wave feminists, right, the ones like her, because there are a bunch of them out there. People,
the bad examples end up representing.
Yeah, I mean, they're at the top. I mean, Anita Sarkeesian's like one of the top feminists in the world. I mean, she goes around speaking at the UN. I mean, what?
Are you serious? Yeah.
So this is, I mean, I make videos about this. I mean, you know, and I say, like, women, do you want girls like this representing you? You know, and I have plenty of, I mean, compared to other truther channels, I think I have more women subscribers, because we actually went over this once in a podcast. You know, we looked at our stats, and I had, you know, I think probably the most women subscribers.
How much is the percentage?
Hold on, I'm gonna look. At the time, it was like 30%.
Oh, that's big. I have like 10%, but my I'm just saying.
Hold on, it might have gone down because, hold on, let me see.
Man, it's probably because you're like, I mean, you can sense the passion and the emotion in your voice, and you know, women like that.
Yeah, of course. You know, and you know,
they don't like some robot or some guy just putting text and music, and that's it.
That's what my recent video was, is text and music, but it's still a good video. But hold on, I'm just trying to find, demographics, here we go. Where am I? So it's gone down a lot recently. I think it's because I've been putting out certain videos like about like war, and it's typically not a female issue as much, right? More...
Okay, then review the woman clothing.
Yeah,
just kidding.
No, I did like a more, I guess, you know, Illuminati exposed videos and stuff. There were a little more women, because I think, you know, I would expose like the VMAs and stuff, and I still do that, but just lately, the past maybe 2 months or so, I haven't. And that's why it's probably gone down. But it's like, it's at 20% right now. But it was at 30%, like, you know, this is probably like 9 months ago.
And maybe women are too busy with their lives, you know. We men, we are not so busy. We live in our man caves, doing our man activities on the computer.
Yeah.
You know, they have more important stuff to do. They don't have time for conspiracy videos.
Well, imagine, think about it this way too. Like, if you're a woman, you want to be you know, want to start a YouTube channel about conspiracies, and you know, you're just as well spoken and you know, knowledgeable as someone like myself. You're gonna get way more subscribers than me, you know, because people like, even women, other women like to see girls talking about this stuff, men and women. So I think girls have more of a niche in this sort of community. I think they have more potential than any man does. I mean, like Lisa Haven's a good example. I don't know if you know her.
And even Spy Kitten, the girl that you said, you know, in 2 months, over 3,000 subs. You know, that's more than I will probably get in like 2 years.
Exactly.
And she did it in 2 months.
Yeah, no, they have an advantage, I think, and rightfully so, because I think, you know, I hate to quote somebody so tyrannical, but Hitler was right about this one statement. Adolf Hitler once said he claimed that once you persuade the women of a society of a collective, of a country, into believing what you're saying as a leader, or as a politician, then you have everybody. Once you win the women, that's it. It's game over, right? Once the women are convinced, you don't even have to worry about the men, because the men will just follow, sort of thing. And he was right, because that's where the true power lies.
So we need to replace Alex Jones
with Spy Kitten.
With Spy Kitten, or
Yeah, no, for real though. I mean, but and it'll happen naturally. I mean, you have these women coming up, getting so many subscribers. Spy Kitten, who's brand new, getting so many subscribers. Lisa Haven, this girl, I think she has like 80,000 subscribers, and she's been around about as long as me, I think, but she has a lot more subscribers, and people like that. They like hearing the women's voice, because it means so much to society. I mean, it means more to society, because women are the caretakers. They're the bread and butter of any society, right? It's like, I mean, it's obvious. Men are just the meathead idiots that go around doing, this, that, and the other. Women are the ones really influencing the men, right? So it's almost like it's true, right? Because it's just that's what we as different genders have to offer, right? Men are more strong, right? Physically, a little more logical. Women are more influential, and they're more
and they can speak more coherently. I think. Yeah. Like they can speak faster and coherent, and we're like, this and that. But we're passionate too. Just saying, they have the. It's like they're more clear of mind sometimes.
Yeah, I agree, because men get caught up in the ego thing too, and it can be good, but it can be bad, So it's all about a balance, So that's what.
There's no doubt we have different traits, That's why sometimes I have problems and difficulties accepting some of these new thought processes that are being placed into us, like this Caitlyn Jenner bullshit. She's not a woman.
No.
You can't just make stuff up like that.
Yeah, and that's like that's why most women are, if you talk to the average woman, about Caitlyn Jenner, being a woman, like, oh, this is a woman now. And the girl will be like, usually, I've talked to girls about this, like, he'll never have a menstrual period.
But even that, not a pair of boobs, or let's say if I transform myself in a woman body tomorrow, like completely with some magical beam, my mind is still functioning as a man. So
yeah,
you can't just I think I just believe in this idea of men and women. Okay, maybe there are those who are men with effeminate traits. I have nothing against those, they can do whatever they want, but let's not go to the extreme,
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, it's put perfectly. I mean, there's a line there. I mean, it becomes a matter of not accepting oneself. So someone like Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner, right? This was a man who felt more like a woman. Okay, fine, but why wouldn't you still accept the fact that you were born like a man, right? It's all about trying to control everything, right? It's just this sort of psychotic mindset. You're gonna chop off your balls and put some tits in because you like watching Devil Wears Prada, or like you like watching what is it, the Housewives of Atlanta, or whatever. You're more into the women stuff, and you feel like a woman, so you're gonna do all that. I mean, that's just, it's just taking it too far. You can't just accept yourself as a feminine man, right? And I've known some feminine men. I actually, my past job, the job I used to work at, one of the guys I work with, he was a feminine man, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm like 100% sure, pretty much, that he was gay. But we never really talked about it. But that's it was sort of like unspoken. I knew he was gay, but he was a really cool guy, and he would never. We've even talked about this. He was like, I would never. Well, he was more like, I would never kind of thing, chop off my balls and like he had the high voice.
The feminine voice.
Yeah.
That's
He was
fun.
like, I just accept me as I am kind of thing, and that's what's the difference between him and some of these people like Bruce Caitlyn Jenner? Well, he accepts himself as he is. Bruce Caitlyn Jenner does not. And that's why Bruce Caitlyn Jenner, I would suggest, probably has psychological issues, probably has, just a really severe lack of self-acceptance sort of thing. And that's a problem, and it shouldn't be promoted as a good thing.
Man, it's a clear agenda behind. Like, you got this guy being put as Woman of the Year, and with no skills whatsoever. Like, what did Caitlyn Jenner do for humanity? What were the achievements? Nothing. Just putting a pair of tits. Woman of the Year achieved.
Yeah, achieved. Right. Get a pair of tits, throw on some lipstick, and the Woman of the Year. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, it's like, and that's where the agenda comes in, of course. And this is where we get into the esoteric.
Sucked and pulled into a world of relativistic nihilism.
Yes, exactly. It's relativistic nihilism, man. And so you have the agenda. This is where we get into the esoteric thing. So there's more than just the nihilism, I think. I think, if you look at, obviously we know Hollywood is infiltrated by Satanists. Many people in Hollywood and the music industry, they worship Lucifer, they worship Satan.
Yeah, they have little pedo gatherings.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're a bunch of creeps. I mean, they're psychos, and they, if you look at one of their idols they worship, it's named Baphomet. And if you ever look at Baphomet, if you ever looked at that symbology behind Baphomet, it's a transgender goat with tits and a beard. That's what Baphomet is. And that's what Caitlyn Jenner is. So,
they do it at all levels. Like, symbolically, they may say, some guy might come into the comment section and say, well, you guys are just stupid because that's just a metaphor for the polar opposites entwining each other. But, but they also do rituals to kind of invoke that spirit of entwinedness. So, by becoming transgender, or it could be a, you know what I'm saying. So
I'm saying So basically, even if that is what it represents in a way, that's their belief system, and they want to bring that about in a physical way.
Manifested everywhere, be it sex, being whatever.
So it's an irrelevant point when you say, or it's a moot point when you say, well, that's just representing the polar opposites combining. Of course it is. But, it's like one of those things. What are you going to, it's about promoting that physical thing, So
you take it from the esoteric concept and you apply it into the physical reality. I mean, that's what these guys do with everything. And that's why they rape children. Because it gives them some kind of, they believe it gives them a spiritual energy boost, by raping a pure form of new energy. So it's crazy, man. Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, dude. Yeah, my bad.
Did you mute?
Yeah, I was talking. I accidentally muted. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't mean to. But
But
what
you
I
see
was
the
saying,
point, though.
no, I couldn't hear you either. But what I was saying about Caitlyn Jenner, and then I think I heard you say about the pedophilia thing.
Yeah, I was saying that they take what's esoteric and manifest it into the physical world, and that's what they do when they do these pedophile satanic gatherings. Is they believe that when they rape a child, it gives them some form of energetical boost by feeding from a pure and new form of energy, which is the child.
Right.
Which is described in Aleister Crowley's book, you know.
Yeah, and that's where you get into the really dark side of what these elitists are into, and it's so. This is in the end, I think. This is what really encourages people like myself to do what I do, you know, knowing that this is going on. It's sort of, it gets you off your ass, and it really gets you to want to expose all of these agendas that these people are trying to push, because to know that they're this evil, that they're this addicted to power, and that's essentially what the pedophilia thing is too. It's a spiritual, energetic addiction to that helplessness of the child when they engage in those disgusting, heinous acts of rape. It's like you just want that out of here. That needs to be erased from this planet. We have to expose it.
These people are leading humanity, man. It's crazy.
It's insane. I mean, literally, it's a sickness, I think, and you know, I don't know, like, what can we really do about it besides just talk about it? You know, I mean, there's nothing you can really do about you know, these pedophilia rituals going on, you know, wherever at the Vatican or wherever, right? It's just, you just have to expose it. That's all we can do as individuals as of right now. But it's
and
just
affect our own micro universe reality, like
yes.
Our relations with the people that we interact with in real life, and our families and our small community, basically.
Yeah. And there's actually a theory that you know, part of the reason why they do these rituals, not all of them are pedophile in nature. Some of them are just violent rituals that they do to you know, sacrifice humans or children or whatever, and they just kill them. But what they do is they do these sacrifices on ley lines, which are basically electromagnetic energy points on the planet, and it's supposed to sort of disrupt the energy field on this planet so that people are more influenced by the negative energy they're spreading by with these rituals. And you're right. How else can you counteract that? Is to be a good person and spread good energy and stuff, and promote, you know, God and stuff in your real life, you know, and
but
just to be a moral person.
It's really hard though for some people, because, you know, like we said, in this matrix has been built for us. They thought about this. So what if you're gonna live in a huge building in the city, you know, you don't know your neighbors, you don't know anyone, you know, community doesn't exist anymore in those places, so it's really hard to.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's why we use the internet now, I guess.
Yeah.
A section of us.
That's the sort of Deus ex machina. I don't know if you're familiar with that literary term, but it means sort of God from the machine. What that means is
It's Latin.
Yeah, right. It's a plot device that writers use to throw in, I guess, like a random plot device that will change the whole course of the story for the better usually. So in other words, that's what the internet is. It was sort of this Deus Ex Machina, this wrench in the machine, I guess, that came out of nowhere. That it was able to sort of give us a chance to maybe beat these people, to maybe start our own collective community without them.
Yeah, it's very hard though, because the advertisement companies and all these think tanks and everything is also on the same playing ground with us on the internet. So, they still hold the majority of people. I mean, look at how many views the most popular Illuminati video has, and how much views does the Smash Worldwide Hit have, and you get to see the numbers, and you see billions versus what, couple of hundreds of thousands at most.
Yeah, a million at most, maybe, but still.
Yeah, maybe let's say 3 million would be the best, but most videos that get released have like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, and that's kind of it,
It's not even close. Yeah, I mean, if you look at even PewDiePie.
Man, the guy with the 40 million subscribers.
40 million subscribers, yeah.
For some gaming videos.
That guy has like 5 times as many subscribers as I have views.
That guy has more subscribers than any media outlets on the planet. So what he does, gaming videos, I mean, that's cool. I have no problems with that. I'm a gamer myself. Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his style, though, it's so.
No, it's funny. It's funny. I'll give him that. It's a good form of entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining. That's where the ball stops, right? It's entertainment, and you're not going to get much more out of it at all. And that's what people like, and it's sad. It's sad but I think.
And here's the thing: they use the popular people to they pay them to say things sometimes, either to promote some product or to make fun of conspiracy theories. So the Illuminati confirmed jokes, all that stuff, or they make conspiracy channels themselves, which are fake and gay. They make, like, there's this channel, I don't know how it's called, I forgot, but it's like the most popular conspiracy channel out there, and it's not a guy talking or some sincere opinion or anything like that. Nah, it's a team of professionals with some narrator voice guy that sounds like he's from Hollywood, and they tackle only the superficial conspiratorial mindset. Like, they talk a little bit about JFK, and they talk a little bit about this and that, and all the topics that we tackle, they treat as fictional, So that's where you manipulate psychologically.
Right. Yeah. That's what's going on.
We got a big fight to fight, soldier.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I think the tide is turning, but it's just gonna take a while. It's a slow, painstaking process, and
really hard to focus.
Yeah, what I had a friend actually make a remark to me. This is like 3 years ago, before I started my channel, but I was awake and I was into sharing this information and reading a lot and promoting the work that people like myself do now. And one of my good buddies said to me once, how you're not going to change anyone's mind, right? You're not going to be able to topple the people in power, even if it is true, right? And he wasn't really awake, but he kind of like understood that what I was saying had some legitimacy, and he was just like, yeah, but there's nothing you can do about it. Now, at the time, I replied to him in a way that now seems really, really important and really relevant to what we're talking about. I said, well, it may not change anybody's mind tomorrow or in a year from now or in 5 years from now or in 10 years from now. But, decades from now, I think it will. I think this is something that takes a long time. I think that this is an ongoing battle that's going to take decades. And, it's it's one of those things, man. You're not going to win overnight. And you're not going to win within a few years either. It takes time. The world changes over decades of time. Decades and decades, Even in the past, I mean, it's always been that way. So, that's what people have to realize and understand. And I've seen some of my subscribers, people that we used to do hangouts with and stuff, lose faith and lose interest because they believe that what we're doing has no effect on anything. And we're just preaching to the choir and this, that, and the other. A good example of this is somebody you might be familiar with. His name is, he goes by the name of Avedon. He used to be called Justin Bryant. He believes that, people shouldn't make truther videos or because it essentially has no effect on anybody. You're not going to convince anybody, and you're not going to be able to, bring anybody to court and prove them wrong under the court of law. So therefore, it has no effect, and you might as well just, not fight evil, sort of thing. But it's a long-term game. That's what somebody like him doesn't realize. It's a long-term game, and it's not like, no. Even if you made the best video, proving 100% that something is a hoax or whatever, or somebody is somebody in a position of power is guilty of something, of course, it'll probably never get brought to court, but maybe in the future these people can be rendered inert. These elites can be sort of toppled, just toppled in a way that it doesn't even require physical action. We can make them irrelevant. We can make them make what they say not mean anything to the masses because the masses don't trust them anymore. So that's really what the goal is. We're trying to get it so that when people like Barack Obama go up there and say that we need to take the guns and let in all the refugees and be sympathetic toward people who are for taking away our rights and taking our jobs or whatever. Well, we can make him irrelevant when he says that. If we wake up enough people, it'll almost be like it won't have an effect.
People will laugh in his face.
Right. That's what the goal is. It's not. This is something I've come across. This is why I'm ranting a bit about this right now. I've had subscribers come to me and say, "You're not ever going to take these people to court. What's the point? You can't prove this with like forensic evidence, right? Like I can't prove the Sandy Hook shooting or whatever, or the San Bernardino shooting or any of these shootings with forensic evidence presented in a court of law. There's no way to prove it." Well, in the court of law, you're probably right, because I don't control the crime scene. So, of course, I can't prove anything unless I'm there in charge of the crime scene, sort of thing. But we can prove it in the minds of the masses, which is enough in the end, over a long period of time, to fight the powers that be. And see, these people, these are the type of folks that want instant gratification. They don't have that ability, that advanced, sophisticated ability to appreciate delayed gratification. And delayed gratification is the greatest kind.
Yeah. Patience even with your own life. We all have mistakes, we all have flaws, you know. So that's the key, basically. But yeah, speaking about law, you know, I go to such an extreme to say that today's law system is just a giant monster with tentacles made for them to protect them. And I agree with law in its primary form, which is basically something to protect people and from immoral activity, and you know, someone coming and destroying your killing your wife for no reason. You know, I think something like that should be punished, of course. But there are so many ramifications in today's law that it's just being used by corporations to protect themselves, basically. You know, it's crazy. I mean, there are people who have written books on this issue, even people in 1700s who were alerting us about the future, said that the law system will become a cage, for it will no longer protect the citizen, it will be a weapon against the citizen. Yeah.
I think we just need to value the natural law. Natural law is sort of, you know, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. You know, it's just simple stuff. And, you know, there are some regulatory laws, too, that benefit humanity, like the Glass-Steagall Act. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it was an American law that basically separated commercial banks from investment banks. And ever since it was abolished, that's when the banks really were able to run rampant with corruption. You know, so yeah. It's just it's a complex issue, you know.
You see it like an animation of a snake getting bigger and then multiplying its heads, and we're just stuck in our little mazes, you know, with our popcorn, watching the latest movie, and our little capsules.
It's like a science fiction film.
It's like in the network movies from the 1970s, where he was like, at least let me alone in my living room. You know, there was a portion of the speech, but that's not the right mentality, you know. We need to get out of the capsule, you know, and reach for the sky.
Reach for the stars.
Man, this is getting so dramatic here.
Is this real world or exercise?
No, this is not an exercise, not a test.
Ни у кого на Западе интереса не вызывает вопроса, что сын президента.